Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Vento Aureo, or Golden Wind if you prefer, episode 12. So yeah, here we are with another episode of JoJo, and yeah, I've been really enjoying this so far. It's been a really wonderful, unique, and interesting take on JoJo with this new series. Now with this episode, we are going into, presumably, Fugo and his stand. Because we've gotten all the other characters. We've got Abacchio, we've got Mista, we've got Narancia. We've gotten their episodes. And of course we've already got Giorno and Bruno. But now we have Fugo. He's the last member of Bruno's gang who has yet to receive the characterization, the backstory, the stand information. And he's part of the gang that is going to the park, I believe? I believe they're going to a park in order to scope out the area and stuff. Because they're supposed to be I believe they're supposed to find a key which will lead them to transportation to bring them to the boss, to deliver the boss's daughter. And that's the goal. Now, of course, we're going to probably end up finding another member of that assassins group here, who's going to probably face down with Fugo, because again, Fugo is one of the three going to the park to find this all. And their goal after finding this and making sure everything's safe is to send a message to Bruno and the others to come join them. So what this could mean is that they're possibly going to meet the boss soon. Or at least it's going in that direction. But, again, first things first, we're probably going to be confronted here at the park by one of the assassins. And Fugo's probably going to have to face them. Now, I have no clue what Fugo's stand or ability could be. There's really no way to know. We haven't seen anything kind of that could hint to that so far. And while we have all the other stands, there's not really anything that really connects them in terms of their power and naming and all of that, other than, you know, the typical references that Araki makes with all of the names. I'm interested also to find out which villain we go into next, which of the assassins. There's a lot to go into, and another big question is, how long is this Fugo's part going to be here? Is it going to be 2 episodes or 3? Because Narancia had 3, but the others all had 2. So I'm curious about that. And for all we know, it might pull a fast one, and this might not even be that. We might not even be finding out about Fugo yet. Now, one thing we have to note is apparently Fugo is younger than Narancia. And we still have to find out how Fugo came to be with Bruno, and all about how he and Narancia became connected. I mean, we know how he and Narancia met, but only from Narancia's point of view, not from Fugo's. So there's a lot more to go into that as well. Either way, I'm just really interested to see what happens. I don't know. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts, and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. I almost said redirect again. I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, we have Fugo and his purple haze, and Illuso, and Man in the Mirror. Although Purple Haze is outside of the mirror world that Aluso has pulled Fugo into. So Fugo is not really controlling Purple Haze at the moment. At least not completely. However, Purple Haze's ability, when it affects things in the regular world, seems to still be able to affect the same things in the mirror world. So when Purple Haze uses its ability and all punches, releases the virus, and it kills those two crows, that also happens in the mirror world. And then he destroys the mirror and everything, and it's like, I don't know how he's going to be able to use that to stop Aluso, though. So it seems like Man in the Mirror's only real ability is to pull people into this mirror world and stuff. I mean, other than just general fighting. And Purple Haze's main ability is just, well, it's not even really an ability per se. It's just that those capsules on his fist hold the deadly virus, and whenever he punches something hard enough to break the capsules, it releases the virus, and anything within a certain distance of it will die. But the virus apparently dissipates and everything within a short enough amount of time, not too long. So it's but long enough to definitely affect things, and long enough to where you don't want to be anywhere near it for a little bit. So we found out in this episode, Fugo's backstory is that he basically is a genius. He's exceptionally smart. He got into university at only 13 years old, but that he has a very, very short temper. He gets angry really fucking easily, which we already kind of knew about. But here we see it in a couple different situations. One, we see it in the current day, when he gets angry at Giorno for not giving him the directions before it came up. And then we saw it a couple times in the flashbacks. One case, he almost killed his father. For some reason, it didn't really explain why, but he was angry at his father and he almost killed him with a knife, but he managed to hold himself back. And the second time was with the university professor, who was a fucking creepy pedophilic piece of shit. Now, I despise pedophiles. I despise anyone who preys on the helpless, on the weak, on those who can't defend themselves. Those kind of people are the scum of the earth, and especially when it comes to preying upon children. Especially sexually. And I mean, 13 years old is still enough of a child to really make it fucked up. And, I mean, even if he was 15 years old, it'd still be fucked up. I mean, it's still sexual abuse. It's still rape, basically. Now, granted, he got what was coming to him, and it didn't seem like anything did actually happen. Luckily, but he was definitely more than willing to, and that's enough. But the big thing here is definitely Purple Haze. That is the big focus of this. Purple Haze is something that Fugo doesn't like to let out often, because it's a representation, in a way, of his uncontrollable anger issues. It's a representation of his just unbridled rage. And because of that, it's excessively dangerous, even to him, I would assume. So, using his stand would obviously be not the best idea for the most part. Which is why Abakios even stated that he only brings it out in, like, the most dire of circumstances. Now, I'm questioning what's going to be done to stop Illuso and Man in the Mirror. Like, how is that going to come into play? I'm really curious. I just don't know, but I'm really interested. Like, this is really legitimately fascinating. Two very interesting stands. Mirror World kind of reminds me of Jay Giles, again, from Stardust Crusaders. In fact, I want to look up, like, Jay Giles' stand. I don't remember the stand. And the witch lady was Enya, by the way. Hanged Man. That was it. So Hanged Man was like this like mechanical mummy looking stand, and it had the ability where it attacked from inside reflections. Basically, it would transport from any reflective surfaces to another. It didn't matter if it was a mirror, the reflection on a glass bottle, even the reflection in your eye. It's just it's insane. And meanwhile, Man in the Mirror is a little different. Man in the Mirror creates a mirror dimension that is clearly different. It doesn't attack from inside the mirror, but it's definitely reminiscent of that, because, I mean, the way we first see it, we could see, mainly first see Illuso, how we first see him in the mirror, but no one can see him outside of it. But apparently, only Fugo could actually see him during this point. So I'm curious about that, too. Like, was Fugo already in the... No, Fugo wouldn't have been in the mirror dimension at that point. So it's like, can he only target one person at a time, and will only one person be able to see that going on? I wonder how that works. Maybe we'll find out next time. But either way, I did really enjoy this episode. This is really fascinating to me. Tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Vento Aureo, or Golden Wind if you prefer, episode 12. Tell me what you thought, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles, shed tears along the way, you're still standing